Okay, folks, I'm going to start showing you how we're going to do a little bit of massage, because with all of our children, the spine, right here, walking down the spine, you see how I'm just walking down with my two little fingers on each side. Walking down his spine is going to activate his yang qi. And the yang qi oftentimes has to do with our qi that basically is our immune system. Now, if we were looking at places where everything is associated with the lungs, that's going to be here from the base of his neck right down to about his bottom of his shoulder blade. So if your child gets sick, you're going to take like an essential oil, maybe a little bit of coconut oil, which I have right now. A great one if the child's sick would be to use a little bit of bay laurel and eucalyptus. Eucalyptus helps to bring things up and out. And when children have an upper respiratory infection, we want to bring it up and out. So I could take just my two fingers and put them right here at this point that has to do with the fever, dasui, and stroke down. And it's a little ticklish, as you can hear from my grandson, but just stroking down here, right from the up at the top of his neck, all the way down to the bottom. Now, whenever I'm going to really recommend that one of the best things you can do to have a connection with your children, we all have connections when they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. By the time they're 12, sometimes they start having a little bit of problem, and they really don't want us, as they hit puberty, touching them as much. And so when you see that happen, it's a real easy transition. Instead of working up on their back where they might feel a little more uncomfortable, you move right down to their feet. Now, I'm going to pick up his foot to show you. Kidney 1 is located right here in the bottom of his foot. So when I'm massaging my children's feet at night, you're just going to take and pump that. You know, you just push, and it's not like you're doing something that's really going to hurt them. It's just a gentle, gentle pumping. Then stretch out the toes. Stretch out the toes. Always work around the ankles. Put your whole hand right around here and press right by this tendon here. This is the Achilles tendon, but these meridians here on the outside is the urinary bladder meridian, and the one on the inside here is the kidneys. And the kidneys are the root of life in Chinese medicine. So just stroking down on both of these sides, and again, pumping at kidney 1. Stretching out, stretching out, stretching out, stretching out. I can promise you, if you have children who are older, 5 minutes at night, just you touching their feet and massaging them will make a difference as they grow older. They'll be comfortable most of the time with you massaging their feet. But it does happen that there comes a time where maybe they're not as comfortable as you massaging their back. So that's one thing. Now, thank you, sir. I'm going to take this oil and put it back on your back again. So I showed you what we do if we have a child that has a little respiratory. The other thing is you can do guasha. Can I do guasha? Let me grab a guasha spoon if I have one.
Oh, there's one in the bedroom.
One in the store?
I know there's one in the bedroom and the big shelf where all the other things are.
Where?
You know the shelf with all the things.
The shelf with the laundry stuff?
No. With like the presents and stuff.
Oh, okay, I'll just use it.
Chopsticks.
You could even take a simple spoon, a regular spoon, but it's going to be cold.
Ah!
And on either side of the spine, massage down. Either side. And what happened here is if he had a fever, it would start getting really red along the side. Now, he's pretty healthy, so there's no fever here. And so just as I'm scraping here, you barely see anything. Now, what would happen, won't you turn over, don't slide down, just turn over so I can see your belly. Yes, yeah. So, if you have a child at night who's less than a year, they could be having colic. And so what you do is right at the umbilicus, you go up here until you feel these bones here. Okay, once you get to the bottom edge of the rib, and you circle around. And if you see this, I'm just circling around and massaging his belly. Now, that's really soothing. You want to put a little bit of pressure on it, but not a lot, just a little bit of pressure circling around. Now, the essential oils you'd be using here would be something like ginger, lavender, and even maybe sometimes a little bit of cinnamon. But ginger and lavender are the two main herbs for a child that's colicky. If you have a child who tends to have a problem with constipation, the same thing, and you can see that I'm going in the shape of a clock. Midnight, 3, 6, 9, noon. That's always this, that's the circle, that's the direction you always want to be moving here. So, one other thing that's really important is if your child has a fever, all of you probably know this point right here, Hogu. And this point is very, very good for opening up the lungs. Opening up the lungs. And all I'm doing here is taking and massaging a little bit. You can see that. Okay. Is my hair tickling you? Okay. Now let's see the other one. Okay. Now, just for a quick review, if there's a lung infection, if they have a respiratory infection or a cough, you're going to work on the back. One other place that's really good is right up here. These actually, if you can quit giggling, my little giggle boy, these points here are actually lung 1 and lung 2. So you could put these, it's right below the scapula, right at the shoulder. But obviously I'm not going to be able to show you that because he's too ticklish there. So we've talked about the back, and the essential oils for that would be, the essential oils for the back would be eucalyptus and bay laurel, particularly if they had a fever. If there was a very high fever, you could keep blue chamomile at home, and blue chamomile on the bottom of the feet will oftentimes bring a baby's fever down. So blue chamomile, keep that for fevers, and eucalyptus and bay laurel if they're having, respiratory infection. And if they're having stomach issues, maybe they have some constipation, or maybe it's a baby with colic, I'm going to recommend ginger, lavender. Those are the two primary. Sometimes fennel might even be added in there. So those are a couple of essential oils for children's massage.